I'm Annie Penny Pony, and welcome back to my channel. I am going to react to a most amazing top 10 videos. Okay, most amazing top 10 is probably like my favorite channel on the YouTube. I watch them constantly. I really like them. Super much. And today I am going to watch, what's the name of the video? Top 10 scary Disney fairies. Okay, so here's my plan. I am going to watch this video and react to it, and then I'm gonna pick out my favorite fairies and I'm gonna like discuss them a little fast. May they be real, might they not. I mean, it is Disney and it's a super big company, so oh my god, it must be so much fairies about Disney. The picture, their thumbnail is a little bit creepy as well, I have to say. I mean, over the years I have heard some scary things about Disney, like something that is probably like totally made up, like the fact that they have Walt Disney's head frozen down somewhere or something. Those ideas are, I mean, of course made up. But some of the things have also been proven to be real, like they had real skeletons on Disney World, and that's, I mean, creepy but authentic. So anyway, I'm gonna watch this video now about Disney, scary Disney fairies.
Hello and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and
I love Rebecca. She's so much my favorite on this channel. I missed her so much now that she has stopped quit. So I really miss her. Rebecca, if you watch this, I don't think you do, but you love. Okay. Anyway.
For example, I love the wardrobe from Beauty and the Beast. She says aspiration. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and also please do leave a thumbs up. Alright, scary Disney theories, what's happening? Coming in at number 10, the Lost Boys are murdered. Okay,
Oh, I have heard this one before.
Sound fun and everything, but what if it is way more sinister than we at first thought? How come people in Neverland never grow up? Well, maybe someone stops them before they have the chance. Surely not Peter though, he seems like such a swell guy. Well actually, if you really think about it, he's kind of a child kidnapper. If he's stealing children from their beds, maybe he's capable of killing them. There's a theory out there circulating that Peter Pan dispenses of members of his gang periodically when they get too old. The theory also says that Captain Hook is actually a lost boy who escaped, and that's why he hates Peter so much. Honestly, maybe that's why the Lost Boys were so keen to kill the Wendy bird, because they know death, they've seen things. Coming in at number 9, Gaston was Bambi's mum's killer. I'm still not over Bambi's mum's death, and I don't think I ever will. The movie is all fun and woodland frolics until she dies, and then it's a total and utter bummer. It is such a harrowing scene, and I feel like it has scarred me for life, like thanks Disney. We all know that Bambi's mum was shot by a hunter. Well, there's a theory out there that Bambi's mum's killer was none other than that brute Gaston. We know that Gaston
Everyone hates Gaston.
It's even sung about. No one shoots like Gaston, and he uses antlers in all of his decorating. So we know that he hunts stags, so it's very possible that he hunts deer too. There is a shot in Beauty and the Beast where we see a familiar-looking doe drinking from a stream near the Beast's castle. Was it Bambi's mum? Coming in at number 8, we have The Cars Took Over. So we talked about this scary homunculus.
I think I have seen this video before because I remember some of the things they're saying here.
The theory is that cars are actually exoskeletons for humans who are grown in amniotic vats, then plugged into the cars at an early age. It's pretty wild, and there's a really creepy picture. There is also another scary theory out there. Some people think that Cars is a post-apocalyptic world where AI and cars have fused to kill humans. How and why did the humans die? Well, pollution and mass plowing down by angry cars. The theory goes that the cars were implanted with false memories after the takeover, forgetting humans but remembering 20th century events and nostalgia like Route 66. Coming in at number 7, Peter Pan is the angel of death. Oh Peter, you just can't stay out of off this list, can you?
Oh, Peter!
Peter Pan author used to read to terminally ill kids to make them less afraid of death. And now you think about it, Neverland is kind of heavenly. The kids never grow up, so maybe they're ghosts or spirits in Utopia. The theory goes that Peter Pan is the angel of child death, like the Grim Reaper, but just for kids. If sick children die, he shows up to guide them to the afterlife, which is filled with all kinds of fun, frolics and adventure, as well as mythical creatures like mermaids. Perhaps Neverland is child heaven. While that's pretty scary, I honestly like that theory better than Peter Pan being a murderer. It is possible that the prince in Snow White is also an angel of death. Check it out, coming up next. According to a Reddit post, some people do think so. I get it, when kids die, they go off to fun heaven filled with adventures. When single women die, they're whisked away by an impossibly attractive prince. Honestly, I'd kind of like something in between the two, but if I had to choose between a prince and Adventureland, I would choose the adventure. Anyway, the theory goes that the prince was sent as an escort to the afterlife, which explains why Snow White waves at the dwarfs as if she's never going to see them again towards the end of the movie. The kiss is said to symbolize entering the next
This one is
realm.
good.
The white horses that you see
This one is
are apparently
really
biblical
smart.
symbols for death. Yikes.
This might be my favorite.
Elsa and Anna's parents died on the way to Rapunzel's wedding.
Oh, I hear this.
That Rapunzel, Elsa, and Anna are related. According to multiple theorists, they're cousins. Anyway, Frozen director Jennifer Lee said that the king and queen of Arendelle died in a shipwreck on their way to a wedding. Arendelle is supposed to be in Norway, and Rapunzel lived in Germany. It is quite likely that they would have travelled the North Sea, so perhaps this was their final resting place. Coming into number 4,
But we have
Carl
seen
dies
the
in
two
Up.
now, so we
There's
know
a
that's
theory
not
out there
true.
that Carl actually dies at the beginning of Up, and everything after is his ascension to the afterlife. I don't know about you, but I was howling within the first 10 minutes of Up. It was really sad but cute. Carl and his wife Ellie have a lovely marriage, but they never get
It's
to
almost
travel
about
the way
death.
they wanted to. And don't even get me started on the baby thing. Anyway, it was clear that Carl loved his wife more than anything, but then she died, and then he was almost forced to leave his home, his final reminder of their marriage. It's thought that he died in their home, and the whole adventure afterwards was his journey to heaven to be with his wife. Russell is said to be his guardian angel, but an angel in practice who needs to earn his wings by doing good deeds. In the movie, he needs a
this
bad
awesome is super
to
cute.
become senior wilderness explorer, but maybe he just needs, kudos.
I mean, in some way, they're actually in a nicer way than how we think the movie was supposed to be. Oh.
The house that Carl and Russell fly away in is said to represent Carl's physical attachment to the world, and floating up is said to represent his transition from the real world to the spirit world. Paradise Falls, where he eventually goes, is said to be the gates of heaven. Was he dead this whole time? Honestly, whatever happens, I hope that he and Ellie were together somehow afterwards. Coming into number 3, Aladdin is post-apocalyptic. It seems that some people out there think that Aladdin is set in a post-apocalyptic future, and that Agrabah is one of the only outposts for survival. Why? Well, it all
why?
centers on the genie. The genie complains that he has been stuck in a lamp for 10,000 years, and when he comes out, he does a Jack Nicholson impersonation and also turns Abu into a 1950s looking car. This must mean that he was imprisoned in the lamp sometime in the 20th century. If not, he wouldn't know all of that stuff. If so, then he's in the lamp for 10,000 years. Aladdin must be set in the year 12,000 or thereabouts. Further evidence comes from the Aladdin video game, where you can see an old road stop sign buried in the sand. Now,
What?
according to a 4chan thread, all of this is as a result of a horrifying nuclear war that wiped out most of the world, save for the Middle East. Coming into number 2, Ariel's mum was murdered by Captain Hook.
I hear
With
this.
villains from one movie murdering mums from another, like is nobody safe? So a lot of eagle-eyed lovers of The Little Mermaid have noticed a certain red-haired mermaid hanging out in the lagoon who looks a lot like our gal. In Ariel's
I
beginning,
don't
we
think
learn that
they
her mother
looked
was
so
called
much
Athena,
alike, actually.
and true to classic Disney, her mother was killed. But not just killed, she was killed by pirates. Right. We know that Captain Hook isn't great to the mermaids of the lagoon, so is it possible that Captain Hook and his cronies killed Athena? A lot of people think so. Finally, coming into number 1, we have the on-screen murder in Emperor's New Groove.
What?
Like right before your eyes. So there is a key little piece of plot evidence here. In the Emperor's New Groove, it's established that only animals that used to be human are able to speak in the movie. There's a nasty moment in a scene where Cusco sees a fly get eaten by a spider, but he hears it scream, which must be, according to the logic of the movie, it must mean that this fly was once human. Kids, you witnessed a murder. Well, guys, that was the top 10 scary Disney theories. theories. Let me know what you thought to this list in the comments section down below. Also, are you buying into any of these theories? Do you believe in them? You got anything to add? Let me know. Before we go, I just want to read some comments from the Christmas urban legends.
Okay, we're gonna stop there. I'm gonna have to do a list over which I want to talk to you a little bit about. So I'm back. Okay, so I made a list. Don't ask how I spell things. Okay, the first theory I thought was super interesting was the first theory in the video, and that's that the Lost Boys are murdered. I have heard this theory before, and the thing is that, I mean, the original Peter Pan book, I hasn't read it, but I know that it was much darker than the Disney movie is. So I think it might make some sense, honestly. That, I mean, if we have to... It was a time ago since I last watched Peter Pan, but I mean, Peter Pan is... He's a little... How am I gonna say this in a good way? He's a little bitchy, and he doesn't particularly like adults, so perhaps, I mean, it kind of makes sense. It does, that he murdered the Lost Boys because they were getting too old. But I think, I mean, who knows how it works in this magical world, but that the boys were, I mean, the Lost Boys are very young. I don't know how old they are supposed to be, but like, if I were to guess, like 5. I mean, when you, is like that the limit for him? When you're going over 5, you're too old, you have to die, you're like, what? Perhaps that's a little what I feel like it might, maybe not really work. But otherwise, I don't know if I honestly think this makes a lot of sense, to be honest. I was never a really big fan of Peter Pan, to be honest. Another one is similar. There was the 7, that Peter Pan is the angel of death. And, I mean, number 10 and number 7 doesn't work with each other. Number 7 is happier, definitely. But, I mean, it makes sense in some way that, okay, children die. We know they do sometimes. It's just a fact. And if we believe in like some afterlife or whatever, I mean, why not? It could be so. But then my question is, like, I don't remember the name on these kids he takes with him to Never Ever... What's the name on this place? This little island where they live anyway. They are supposed to be children heaven. Why did all these 3 siblings died? Like immediately? Were they like sick or something? But he also brought them back in the end of the movie. So did they not? There perhaps where it doesn't really quite match, I think. But otherwise, I think it's kind of match, and it's actually quite beautiful. And the next one is number 6. And when I hear this, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, this is it. And that, of course, is that Prince, whatever his name is the angel of death. And, I mean, the prince from Snow White. And the thing here is that, I mean, it matches up, actually. Because I don't know if I believe in some afterlife, but I do think it's in some way, and this is what I'm gonna say now, gonna sound weird, but I do find it actually to be a little more realistic that you die and some hot angel comes and take you away on a horse, than that some hot princess dude comes and kiss you in the middle of the forest and you wake up from the dead. I don't know if that was logic or not, but And also it actually looked a lot like she actually was dead. Like he came and like kissed her and like, come, follow me, and put her on this horse, and they were like riding off, and also like they said she was like, as they said that like she waved goodbye to all these little dwarfs, and like she would never meet them again, which is actually no, if she was alive, it wouldn't be no reason for her to not meet them again later on. And they ride into the sunset, which is a metaphor for that. So I think that's it. Well, that was that childhood ruin. Snow White is dead. Okay, let's go. Let's move over. Oh, here's another thing that ruins my childhood. Aladdin is in a post-apocalyptic place. I don't know what to call it, but that is actually like, yeah, it's in a post-apocalyptic place. Well, what do you call it? Anyway, and I didn't think it actually made so much sense first when Rebecca said it, but as more as she talked about it, I'm like, ooh, it makes a lot of sense, honestly. Because of like the genie, it's the genie, and the genie does a lot of reference to modern day pop culture, which if this was like based on like 100 or 200 years ago, he should not be able to know these things. But of course, I mean, he's a genie, so perhaps he can just look into the future. It could be that as well, but it makes sense. And also this, like in this, she talked about this in this video game where they see a stop sign, which is super weird because like, why would they have a stop sign there? It probably, I can assume it must be some like wrong in the making of it, but it's still super weird. So I think it makes some sense. Gosh, I wonder what happened with the world then. Like this has a nuclear, me trying to pronounce things right. A nuclear weapon explosion they talked about. But how could the Middle East be the only place who survived that? That doesn't make sense. Oh, perhaps there are other places as well that did survive, but there are no movies about it. Or they are. Perhaps there are in other Disney movies. Oh, there we have something to think about, or what do you say? Okay, and this last one is the number one on the list, which I think definitely makes absolutely most sense. On-screen murder. I wonder if we hasn't actually seen that other times on Disney Channel. The thing is that Disney Channel movies are actually extremely dark, like on the paper. So it feels like we probably have seen some murder in those movies over the years. I don't know honestly if we have, but I don't really remember that movie. I didn't really like that movie as a child, but I do. Okay. So the only animals who can talk are humans who turned into animals, because that's happened. And this fly who was eaten by the spider screamed for help. I mean, it could, honestly, what else could it be if that's how they like put it up? Like, if they talk, they are humans. I mean, it must be, right? Damn, I mean, what dark. I mean, Disney movies are really dark also, so it's not that big of a surprise, I think, but yikes. Okay, anyway, tell me in the comments which theories do you think are real, which theories do you don't think are real. Do you have any Disney theories on your own that wasn't in the video? Tell me what Disney theories you have and which you believe in, and subscribe and like this video, and remember to take care. of each other and yourself. Okay, this is dark times. This is dark times. And well, have a great